Once upon a time, two singles met online and started a podcast, the Computer Love Podcast.
Yeah. We back. Let's go. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up? I am Jay Reed, and I am accompanied by my beautiful co-host, none other than Shaquetta Shantae.
Hey, y'all.
And we are back, y'all, for another episode of the Computer Love Podcast, episode 16 or 15?
I think it's 16.
I don't even know, but y'all will see it when we post it. Anyways, happy to be back. Been gone for a little bit, but my baby.
Really, it's been a week.
About 2 weeks. But my baby's gonna bless y'all, as always, with some motivation.
With my church announcement.
Your church announcements. Hit him with the church announcements, baby.
That's funny. Nope, just start. Definitely have to start, as I always do, with thanking you. Thanking you for the subscriptions via YouTube. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. All of the above. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, this is going to be a great episode. So definitely want to just say continue chiming in. Continue giving your feedback. And have a great week. Like, that's what I want to tell you all, to have an amazing week. And for my life lesson, I want to tell you all to do what's best for you. Do what's best for you and not what everyone else wants you to do. Oftentimes, especially people that are like heavily like family oriented or people oriented or people pleasers, sometimes you will get jaded by everyone else's opinion and what everybody else wants you to do. And in love and life, I've always tried to and definitely suggest that you take a step back sometimes and realize, what are your goals? What is it that you truly want to do, that you truly want to accomplish, and make it happen. Set the goals, set a timeline. You may not always hit the timeline or hit it on the exact time that you wanted to complete it, but if you have a target, I know I've said this in many different ways, but if you have something, like you set the bar, something to reach for, even if you fall short, even if you don't reach it at that exact moment or at that exact time, or if your path change, be flexible about the path, but be inflexible, be rigid about the destination. So your path may change, but your destination will be the same. That's what I got.
A goal without a timeline is merely a dream.
And that's on period.
All right.
Seriously.
Beautiful, babe. Beautiful. Ready to go into the
chat room.
It's been a while.
Where is it at?
Chat room.
So, yeah, this one I think is actually going to be pretty good. And I think that a lot of men or women can probably agree or say, like, this is probably me, the person that our writer is writing about. So this person says, my partner always forgets important dates. I feel that I am not important, or our relationship is not important to them. What should I do?
This is the woman saying this, right?
Well,
sure.
you know, I'm just going to say from both sides.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, what should you do? You should remember the dates yourself. Your partner is forgetting the dates, and it makes you feel unloved, it makes you feel unimportant, and makes you feel like your relationship is not important. Does he forget these dates with everybody, or does he just forget these dates with you? Because it could just be a memory of issue. In life, one thing, in life, you have to understand that if the way that we take things, we're complicit in how we feel about that. So just because, so in this example, he misses dates, and in turn you interpret that as he doesn't love you and this relationship is not important, but you interpret it that way. That may not be the case. What you need to do is you need to sit down and you need a conversation with him and ask him why, these dates are important to me. How did you forget? Maybe he had a lot going on. Try to look at the situation. Is he failing in other areas of his life, or is it just this? Like, is he doing everything else to show you that this relationship matters, and that he cares, and that he loves you, or is he just forgetting dates? I mean, I have a horrible memory myself, so I could see this happening to me. But that's why we have iPhones, and we have calendars. We have things to help us remind us, to put those dates in your phone. But what should you do? If they're important, I mean, maybe you can give some hints, but at the end of the day, I think you have to have a conversation. You have to talk and figure out why is he forgetting, because you can't just make that leap. I mean, you're making that leap that, it's unimportant, that he doesn't love you, and I would argue that that's probably not the case. And he's probably showing you that he does love you and does care about you in other areas.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you hit on all the topics. My perception of this is, obviously this is a love language for you.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning of a relationship, I am assuming, because you're always feeling this way, just assuming. And if you have not, then I suggest that you do have a conversation about your love language and how heavily this affects you. If this is something that this person does in all areas of their life, I'm sure that you may be understanding. However, I don't think that it is necessarily a pass to say, this is who you are, I have to deal with it, or whatever. I think that two people, when they actually share what is important to them, things that they need, then they should actively try to figure out something, a plan, to make sure that I am speaking their love language. And absolutely, we have smartphones. Makes it much easier for you. Back in the day, parents couldn't even do that. They just say, we had larger families. So people were having 12 kids and they had to remember all of these birthdays and stuff. So it's like, definitely, if there's a memory issue there, set it up for them. It is nothing wrong with you sitting down and literally helping them set it up in their phone, like to set reminders if it's the day before, or
a shared calendar.
Yeah, like that morning or something, to say, okay, this is your reminder that today is our anniversary or whatever. Because if this is a woman that is right in this, then absolutely, I can see how she feels slighted if it's like birthday or anniversary, milestones, like she's been on her job for a certain period of time, and if everybody else around you is celebrating that moment or celebrating you, and you don't feel like you're receiving that from your partner, then that can be an issue. So it all depends, one, why, like, do this person have a memory issue, or is it just literally they're not putting any effort in at all? So ultimately, conversation needs to be had. Two, if this is important, this relationship is important to both of us, then we can sit down and come up with a plan. I will help you remember. Okay, let me help you, like I said, share calendars, etc. But ultimately, yes, you should communicate your feelings. You should help put in a plan and see if that is helping the trajectory of your relationship. Because if it doesn't improve and you're really, because it sounds like they're getting that wit's end, like they're starting to feel helpless, hopeless, or should I stay or should I go? So before you make such a strong decision, take those steps into consideration and try to work out a plan. And hopefully they'll be receptive to sharing a calendar or doing things like that to help make sure that both parties' needs, wants, and desires are being met.
Indeed. That was my advice to the girl. My advice to the guy would be, dude, you got to get your life, man. You cannot miss dates like that. There's really no excuse for it. Like we said, you have iPhones, you have computers, there's no reason you wake up on time, right? I mean, you make it to work, you make it for your appointments. There's no reason. It's unacceptable, to be quite honest with you. Does that mean that you don't love her or that you don't care about the relationship? No, that's not what that means. So that's why my advice for her was different. But for you, you got to get your stuff together. And if you do care about her and you want this to work, you're gonna have to make sure you remember those dates. It's inexcusable.
And it's the same for if this is a woman that's forgetting or not, like, because I think sometimes it can be thought or received that like a guy doesn't care about those things, so you don't have to. Guys may not speak on it more, so they're just like, whatever. But ladies, also celebrate him too. Make sure you're remembering important dates for him. It may not be so much of anniversary for him, but it may be how many years he's been on the job, like his anniversary date at work or something like that. Because men can be more like work driven and things like that versus like the love aspect of it. So don't think it's just,
right,
women like, okay, you remember all of my dates, but I can slide on yours.
Like you made a good point. Definitely, this is not something that you need to just deal with or accept, but what I'm saying is I don't want you to make the leap and just think that he doesn't love you or
sure,
because it could be a legitimate reason,
For sure.
So, all right. Good?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, let's move on to the topic.
Topic of the day.
Chat room.
You went back to the chat room.
Oh, that's chat room? Shit. I was rolling with it too. It just sounded good.
Topic of the day.
So the topic of the day is, why is complimenting your partner important?
I'll let you take this one first. Seems like a pretty straightforward question, but
I mean, it's very important because I've always felt like men and women fight different battles in life, in their careers, and just in general, their personal family dynamics. Women wear multiple different hats. Men wear multiple various different hats. So to do all of this and to not feel like you're being seen, because I think complimenting someone is an indication that I see you. That I understand. I see what you're doing.
I see you in a positive light, no less.
Right. I love what you're doing, because a lot of times people do things on their everyday basis, everyday routine, and it becomes a routine. It becomes something that they feel like they're obligated to do, something that they have to do. And they oftentimes may not feel like they're appreciated, or it is something that should be held in high regard. Because if you don't do something that you do essentially every day, then somewhere, somehow, someone may not get what they need, or they may not function as, like, if you don't play your part or be a part of the puzzle that you play every day, then it won't be a complete puzzle. So to compliment your partner and to say, if it's just like, I loved the way you had the candle, like the aroma of the house was like amazing today. I really love that you took a moment to stop to the store out of your busy schedule to pick it up. Like, just small things that may seem very simple, but for someone that has a busy schedule and so many things to do, making an extra stop to pick up candles may not be something that happens all the time. Or to say, I know you were tired, thanks for dinner. Or, every compliment doesn't have to be a physical compliment. It can be an emotional feeling, complimenting them on how they made you feel. So if you let someone know that you appreciate them, that because a compliment is really equates to appreciation. I appreciate this about you, or I appreciate this quality, this trait.
Physical versus
so emotional could be, like I was saying, in reference to thank you for cooking. That wasn't I didn't compliment a physical attribute on you.
Oh, gotcha.
So just saying something that was more, work related or something like that. Something that, again, you may compliment your partner, say, I love that. I love, those shoes. Love it, babe. Like, they really make you whatever. Love those glasses, babe. Or I notice you're growing out your beard, babe. Keep doing that, or whatever. So that is like
it's the first time I heard you say these things to me, babe. I need to hear this more often.
Received. So
you like my shoes or whatever. You like my this beard. Okay.
Well, I told you about the glasses. The glasses, absolutely. But we had the conversation about your beard too, and growing your goatee out. That's just it's the memory.
You've definitely been supportive of it.
But it's never too much or too little of it. Well, it's definitely too little of it. I don't think that in a relationship that you can over compliment somebody on, certain things. But like I said, complimenting, and for me to explain it, a compliment means appreciation. Mm-hmm. So it is important because the person that you want, or the person that you are with, wants to feel appreciated, and as appreciated as they felt in the first few weeks of your dating. I think sometimes people get relaxed on complimenting and showing appreciation because you feel like that's something that person has to do, especially the things that are like around the household and the things that are not physical attributes. So it has to be something that is done on the regular if you want those things to continue.
Right.
Because sometimes somebody might feel like, well, he don't appreciate it, so let me go ahead and let him make up his own, whatever.
Right.
Or whatever. So show some type of compliment is appreciation. Compliment your loved one. Appreciate them. We can't read your mind all the time. So even if you looking like, if you ain't make no noise, the eye contact, the eyes, like, you don't know what they're thinking is, do you like it?
Right.
Because I know I'm good for that. If you just looking at me, I'm like, what? Like, why are you looking at me like that? Say something. Tell me what that look means.
No, I think that was an amazing answer, and I forgot that I haven't even got my answer yet. So what was the question? Why are compliments important? Mm-hmm. Or are compliments important?
Why is it?
Why are they important? Mm-hmm. So we assume that they are, which is, I do agree that compliments are important. Why are compliments important? I mean, compliments are, like you said that it's acknowledgement. I would say compliments are just, it's a form of validation, and people like to be validated. As a driving factor for a lot of people. Sometimes more than money, sometimes more than other factors. A lot of people do things just for validation. That's why we have volunteer work, because people like the validation. It's definitely important. Who more important to validate than your partner? You far too often, and I'm bad about this. And I get it honestly, because my mom has the most sarcastic, critical mouth of any person you could ever hear. But you far too often will criticize things. Like, it's very easy for us to say what we don't like, but it's harder to say what we do like. And I think that's something that you just have to change. You have to make it a habit to compliment people. And like, a lot of times we'll think it in our head, like, man, this is really good, or, oh wow, she looks nice today, or, oh man, she made the bed. I really appreciate that. And we just think these things and we keep it in our head, but we never say it. But something that we don't like, it'll come out just too easily, you know. So you just have to change it when the thought passes through your mind. I think that you should let it out. And I'm not trying to act like I'm holier than thou and that I live by this practice, but just thinking this out. That's the move. Women in general, who doesn't love to be complimented, right? But women definitely love to be complimented. That's the female's nature. And like you said, you can't over compliment anyone as long as it's genuine every time. You'll never get enough of it. So yeah, compliments are important. You have to reinforce positive behavior. Not to sound, crude or animalistic, but you have to reinforce positive behavior, and you do that with compliments. Like you said, if you want it to continue, then you need to compliment it. You need to reinforce that behavior. Let them know that is appreciated. So yeah, do it for their benefit, and it's gonna benefit you as well.
Yeah, and yeah, all of that, all of that. But I wanted to bring that back to the important dates as well. The last thing that you want to happen is your partner to feel more appreciated by outside forces, and like you're probably the person that they're doing it for, but it's most appreciated by people on the outside, and are seemingly so, because your partner may really do, appreciate or internalize. They feel like, well, I feel like I appreciate them, or whatever. But absolutely, like that's the last thing that you want to do is your significant other to walk out those doors and go to work or go to church, go whatever, and other people are like, oh my gosh, like your energy is refreshing, or you just have a whatever, like your spirit is kind or whatever, right. And
you're getting all this validation from other people,
and your spouse is like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's what you're supposed to do in the house. Or, that's what you're supposed to do as, a husband. You're supposed to. So let's not ever think that is what that person is supposed to do. Let's look at it as if, like, they're doing it. Because I'm sure we've all been in positions where that somebody else you were with weren't doing it. Or, they were not. If it was getting up and fixing themselves in the morning, I'm sure you probably was with somebody before. It was like, are you ever put on clothes? So just not saying that you don't look at things like somebody has to do something.
Nothing's granted. Nothing is
right.
Yeah.
That this is something they're supposed to appreciate. Because essentially what's happening is what you're thinking she's supposed to do, somebody else is saying, I see you doing that and I appreciate you doing it. When in the house or at home or whatever, this person is doing it and they don't even feel like they're being seen to do it. It's just like, it's a common practice. It's something that they're expected to do. So let's just kind of look at it as if like sweeping around your door, just making sure that, not taking people for granted and just stopping. Sometimes we all get caught up in daily. Like it's not something you're probably going to do daily. Like, oh my God, did I compliment her today? Like, oh my God. Right. But just making sure that ultimately that person feels seen, heard, and appreciated. And I guarantee you they'll show up and continue, and if not, do more than you could have ever wanted.
And on the flip side of that, you can't, like, you shouldn't, I'm not saying you can't, you shouldn't do things only to get validation. You should do things, and this is just in general in life, you should do things because you want to do them. And you shouldn't be looking for that validation. You could set yourself up for disappointment quite often if you have a tendency to do that.
All right. So I think that we gave a lot of perspective and a lot of viewpoints from that in general, in reference to complimenting, why it is important, what it equates to, all of that. I think we gave them enough on that topic to really just pick from, decide like, okay, this is where, and we all have room for growth as well. So I don't want you to listen to this and kind of feel like you're not doing enough, and maybe you're not. So if you're not, then this is an opportunity to step it up and, for everybody to do some self-reflection.
The thing is, with topics like this, there's always a different way to look at it. It's like, but what about this? Or what if he does this? Like, those can be topics in and of themselves. So just hitting this topic for what it is. I think kind of hit the nail on the head with that. So.
Sure did.
You ready to go to the closing question?
And I am.
Right.
Top.
Gee whiz, can I get this right?
Closing question.
I'm gonna get it right one of these days.
You got it.
All right.
So other than money, what have you gained from work?
Other than money, what have I gained from work? Well, I have gained a lot from work. Well, for me personally, I've been working since I was 16 years old. You know what? I forgot how old. I'm 42 now. Or am I going to turn 42?
You're going to be turning 43.
I'm turning 43?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yo, I'm getting old. Because I had posted that I thought I was turning 42. I'm turning 43.
Yeah, you're turning 43.
So I'm 43 for the most part. Jesus. I'm old. What was the question again?
What, other than money, what have you learned from work?
Yeah.
Or what have you gained from work?
What I was saying was, I'm 43 and I've been working since I was 16 years old. Actually, I've been working before that. I was the kid who was going around collecting cans out of the garbage can and taking them down to the Safeway and getting money for that. Doing car washes and raking yards and mowing grass and selling candy door to door. So I was always doing that even before as a kid. And then at 16, I got a job at McDonald's and I was working 2 jobs, one at a Japanese restaurant at the same time. And because of that, I missed too many days of school because I was like closing at McDonald's. So I graduated high school out of night school. Or summer school. So I didn't walk my class. I graduated out of summer school. And then from there, I moved to Chicago and never missed I've never gone a pay cycle without a paycheck. So I went straight into a job when I got there working at a deli on a college campus. And then I also got a job as a baker. So I was working 2 jobs. And then from there, I went straight into the Air Force. And then I served 22 years in the Air Force, and now here I am.
Been working.
I've been working. And I started this job here while I was still in the Air Force. So I mean, have not taken a break since I was 16 years old. I've never taken a break. What have I learned? Or what have I gained other than money? I mean, I haven't gained that much money. So what I have gained is a lifetime of experience. I mean, being in the Air Force was a life-changing experience. I was a recruiter for 7 years, so I know that being a member of the Air Force is a privilege because maybe 1 out of 10 people who walk through that office door is even qualified to join the Air Force, and out of those, half of those don't make it through. So and then when they do make it through, a lot of those don't even make it through basic training, and the ones that make it through there don't make it through tech school. So I mean, the washer is crazy. So it's not like people think that just anybody can just join the military. Like that's your last option. Say just go join the military. It doesn't work like that. Instead of going to jail, it's good. No, it doesn't work like that. You actually have to be quality and qualified. A lot of people don't make it. But no, it was for me when joining the military, it was like I was literally like I was a teenager. The whole world was ahead of me. It's like I was embarking on a new life. It was just, I felt like my life was just finally starting. And I gained a sense of responsibility living on my own at a young age. I bought my first house like when I was 21. Nobody was doing that, where I came from. I got married, had a family. I was like young, and so I was like maturing. For me, I've matured very slowly. I'll grant that to anyone who thinks I'm immature because I've been very, very immature. But I've definitely grown. I've experienced different cultures. I've seen the world. Learning how to deal with people, how to understand people. That's probably one of the biggest life skills is to know how to deal with people. Just in the world in general, just making it in the world is all about people and how you deal with people. I think definitely something that I learned. Man, I've learned so much. Leadership, just the opportunities are endless, and it was just a great experience. So money is probably the least of what I gained from I wouldn't be where I am without it. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Good stuff.
How about you?
Well, I too have been working actually since I was 12. And
What you was doing at 12?
so it's funny because
You was making friendship bracelets and selling them at school?
no, a doctor, a doctor had a private office, a private practice, and at 12, she allowed me to come in, and I started like filing like paperwork and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I like literally, and of course, it was under the table.
That's
like,
funny.
but
That's like my
after,
daughter's age.
yeah, like after school,
Yeah.
I would like go there, and it really just set the foundation for me at a very early age because I was either 12 or 13. I think I was 12, turning 13. That summer, but just working in a professional environment and just coming in contact with so many different like prominent people too. It was a really good start. And from there I went on.
How did you collect that? It's like you said prominent. How did that affect you as a 12-year-old?
Just seeing one. It was a Black-owned office, one like a Black-owned practice.
You were taking all this in, and that meant something to you.
Yeah,
at 12.
at 12, I'm looking at and the people, like the ladies that worked in the office, the gentlemen that worked in the office. They were very supportive and encouraging to me. To like, they saw things in me that I did not see in myself at that time. Like they were speaking life into me
As a 12-year-old.
Like you're going to do amazing things.
Yeah.
Like you're going to do the effect that you have on people at 12, them walking into the office and just your energy, like, hey, you know how you did at 12 years old or 13, whatever, that you're just kind of like that personable at that age.
Yeah.
I didn't, I'm just like, oh, okay, yes, ma'am, manners, being taught manners.
Yeah.
And so from there, I went into working at Burger King, straight out of, then National Car Rental, which was like, once I started working there, if anybody is from like the area, National Car Rental was like the place to work at. It was like a call center.
Oh, really?
In Goose Creek.
Car rental? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was like National Alamo Car Rental. I think Alamo is still around. But yeah, so it's like all of these teenagers are kind of working there over the summer, and they were paying good money. Like, so we were like, what? So what we doing after work?
Yeah.
And so it was really special for me because, whenever I hold on to these moments now, it's more special because my brother isn't here. But my first year working there, my brother had already been working there like 2 years or something.
Okay.
And so I'm like riding to work with my brother, and I'm like, oh, we out here. We making money. Like, so, after work, I'm like, shoot, I'm what?
Like we starting an empire.
Right. I'm like a freshman or sophomore in high school. My brother is like a senior, like graduating and then coming back, also working there over the summer. So I'm like, after work, my brother like, oh, we gonna go do this. I'm like, yo, I'm talking to my friends like, what y'all doing? Like, okay, me and my brother, whatever. I'll catch up with y'all, kind of thing. So that work experience gave me more than work even then. So it gave money, but it also gave me strong relationship with my brother, with his friends, with myself. Like those moments being with him, also, it gave me identity. I think that a lot of times, and whenever you find yourself is a beautiful thing. If it doesn't happen until you're 30, I'm so grateful you did.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen until you're 45, because everybody's story is different. And I never want somebody to feel like, because somebody else did it before them, found, those themselves or whatever, that they missed out on something or they were lacking or whatever the case may be. But then I thought it was money. But now that my brother is not here, those moments were, it gave me more to hold on to. So it gave me memories as well.
Oh, for sure.
So what have I gained from work? I've gained memories. I've gained identity. I may not have known what I was going to do. I may not have known in what way I would impact people. But I can sit here and say that I never questioned if I would. So how I would be, of course, we're all like, I don't know that, you're going to college or whatever. Yeah. But I knew because of my work that I was somebody, that I am somebody, that, so life was being spoken into me even at work. So while working, it didn't feel like work because I was being cultivated. I was being nurtured. I was being whatever. Right. So my work at an early age has given me that identity that I can now give it to other people.
How do you know how does someone know when they found themselves?
Well, I think that when you found yourself is when somebody or something tries to challenge or take you out of or cause you to question who you are, and you can stand on knowing who you are. A lot of times you don't really know who you are until it's challenged, until it's and it's not always a person. It's not always like a relationship that makes you, that challenges you. It could be a job. It could be losing your job. And maybe you found yourself within that. You started your own company that you've worked for somebody else 20 plus years and you were laid off and you found yourself in that. Like, you know what? I'm not just an employee or, I'm an employer. Yeah. I can employ other people. So a lot of times you find yourself or you find like you recognize and accept yourself a lot of times in triumph. It's not always like, oh, I know. Yeah. It's a challenge. But ultimately, just to kind of like wrap that up, my early work gave me identity that I am able to give the work that I do now, the people that I work with now in reference to like my students, my life coaching clients. I can give them and remind them of their purpose, their
and
identity.
Your man, you need to remind me of my purpose and speak life into me.
Always, baby.
I'm your number one client.
Absolutely. So my work gives me purpose, and my work gives me balance. My work definitely doesn't. If
my work wants to give me more money, though, I'm gonna take it.
I was just about to say work. Like my work doesn't, like the pay isn't. I can definitely take those coins as well, but that's a part of the reason why. Like what else my work gives me. Like my students, I think I made a post about that the other day. That I give my students a lot, but Lord knows they give me a lot too. Like I walk on campus and they're like, okay, Miss President. I'll be like, hey, wait, what? Right. Like I can be thinking I look crazy today. And they're like, okay, girl, Miss President, can I get that dress when you're finished? Or Miss President, I remember this conversation you told me like when I first came here 2 years ago, you know, so just them holding on to those things, it's a reminder that, you know what, I am impacting, I am living and walking and representing my purpose. So I think a lot of people can probably agree with that, especially, you know, if the money ain't always there. But it would be great for your job to give you both.
Right. Which one's more important?
Well, I mean, I think that your work definitely has to give you enough to take care of your livelihood. You shouldn't be working and you're homeless, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
you're feeling fulfilled because the people that you're impacting. So I think, you know, if it's giving you at least shelter and a comfortable lifestyle, then yes, that is definitely important. But I've seen people that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and they are not happy. They lack, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I can see that.
Yeah, for me, I would say that having purpose and having fulfillment within your job and loving your job is more important if you're at least like your basic necessities and needs are met.
You know what? That's a beautiful segue into our
hypothetical.
Our hypothetical.
Okay.
So let's
do it.
Let's jump into that.
You know what time it is. It's time for hypothetical questions with Jesse and Shaquetta.
Well, since we're already on the subject, let's talk about that. Would you rather have a job paying you as much as you feel you deserve, paying you well, six figures, all that, but it's not fulfilling? Or would you have, let's say, a $35,000 a year job and it's super fulfilling? Let's say 150 a year, not fulfilling at all. Let's say 40 a year, very fulfilling.
I would go with the 40 a year, very fulfilling, and create new avenues to bring in additional income. The worst place or feeling to be in is to leave a job that you don't like, is unfulfilling. It's draining. And you still have to go home, and God knows if you have a family, if you have a husband that's still expecting you to come home and show him affection, attention, or, you know, whatever, and you have children that as soon as you walk in the door, they're mommy, daddy, whatever. You're like, I have no escape. Like, so I think that's often when people are looking for an escape of life. Oftentimes I would hear that, like, sometimes, you know, people in prominent positions are those that are committing, like, you know, suicide and different things because it's the pressure and maybe they're somehow lost the fulfillment in the job. It was just like they weren't being fulfilled or something was missing. Not everybody's situation and everybody, you know, your perspective may be different, but mine is I'll take the 40. I love it. This was what I do. And if it's bringing me joy, then I still have room. I still have time that I can commit to doing other things to bring in additional income.
Okay. I would love to say that I could take the 40, but I mean, I couldn't. I just don't. I think it's easier for a woman to respond with that answer, especially a woman in a relationship with a man making money. But as a man, I would have to sacrifice that to make the money, because you got kids and you got your woman, you got the house, you got all the things. So I would always plan to get out of this situation.
Absolutely.
So if you were my woman making 40, then like get that business rolling, baby. We need to I need to get out of this situation or whatever. But or if I'm on my own, then whatever. I'm gonna work to to get out of it. I wouldn't want to have to do
Absolutely.
this forever. But yeah, I mean, the bills got to get paid, and as the man, a lot of times they are relying on you. So we got to provide. So it's not always going to be nice, not always going to be easy, but we got to provide.
Yeah. But on the flip of that is there are also like single mothers. So it depends on your situation. If you are a single woman and all you have to worry about is you, then you would probably say, I'll take the 40 and I can, I have this additional time.
A single mother?
No. A single woman. A single woman.
Oh, single woman. Yeah.
But a single mother that has 2 kids or 3 or 1.
Yeah.
Hers probably going to be, I got to take this 150 because I can't
Because
pay for rent.
they're probably working an unfulfilling job, making less anyway.
Right. So I think that they would, depending on your, your situation. So a woman that, is a single mother, you 100%. I would tell you, friend, go ahead, take that 150 because, again, you're a single woman, so that means you don't have any help. You don't have, if it's from the father of the children or another man or parents or whatever. 100%. Do what you have to do, and most times that's what happens. But if you have the option, if you're a single woman just out of college or whatever, then you're probably like, I can do the 40 right now, and
Sure.
So just depending on your situation and where you are. So I definitely agree.
Absolutely. Alrighty. How about this one? Honesty or others' feelings? Which one do you choose? Do you choose honesty? I'm going to tell you the harsh honesty, or am I going to spare your feelings?
Well, I think there's a way to do both. I think there's a way that you can be honest, but not be brutal and and I think so many times that's the route that people take. Well, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to just tell you that's what it is. I'm not going to spare no feelings. No, I can tell you the truth. I can be honest with you. And because regardless, the truth hurts. So, oftentimes, no matter how you say it, it's probably going to hurt. But if I'm telling you in a loving way, then it's probably going to be, better received.
What is a hurtful truth that you would have to tell somebody? In the military, in the Air Force, we had to do things like if someone had body odor or they didn't brush their teeth or whatever, you have to tell these people these types of things.
That's a hard truth.
So, okay, let's use that as an example. This girl's breath stinks. People are complaining about it. How do you tell them? How do you tell this person this?
Well, I think I've had to do that.
Okay,
you know what I'm
great.
saying?
Tell me how you
So
did it.
I would ask them to.
First of all, who was it, and what was the situation where you had to tell someone to do this?
I'm not at liberty to say all of that.
Was it at work?
I've had instances at work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Were you their boss or something, or was it just a peer? You just want to be the person to tell them your breath stinks, or?
Let me just say what So I've had to tell someone, and I like to. So there's this thing of either pros and deltas or whatever. So you tell somebody something good first before you just go into telling them.
It's called a shit sandwich. You give them something good, you give them the shit, and then you give them something good again.
Okay.
You always got to sandwich the shit in between something good.
That's funny. I haven't heard that terminology for it, but in so many words, I think that in that particular, I already had rapport. So having a good rapport with someone or just having a good aura about yourself or whatever. So they came in and I'm just like, hey, how's everything going first? Starting out, because it could be something that's going on in people's lives that they have cared less about hygiene or...
In one situation, this girl had really bad breath in high school, and come to find out, she had a dental procedure, so she could only gargle with baking soda. So she couldn't brush her teeth or anything. Had to use baking soda. That's why her breath stunk. But yeah, sometimes there's a reason.
It's a lot of times it is. It could be do they have money to get
a pack of gum?
soap in general. Just say if it's a body odor or. Yeah. So the thing is, like I personally didn't say like, okay, people are talking or, because that could make the situation worse. But I would just kind of like open the floor up and see how everything is going. And most times it leads into something is not happening, something isn't going right. And I'm able to find out the deeper roots and not just the surface. For real.
You've been able to uncover why someone stinks through just
It could be like if somebody lost a job or whatever. It's like a lot of things that are going on. So absolutely, I have now. Okay. It's all about your questioning. Like everybody don't have those skills to question that well.
Every time that's happened to me, it's always just been a lifestyle thing. Like they just are not. A
well, that's
person.
another. Yeah. That's like that could also be like culture. So, however. Personally, like I said, I would have things available as well. Like let's say at work. What did you say to her? This particular person, I found out that it was things that she needed, and so I kept stuff in my.
So you never told her you stink.
Yeah, like I'm not saying, oh, you stink, but I'm like, okay, so yes, I realized. So that brings like I have like others have noticed or whatever. So to kind of help you in that realm, I do have some whatever, and so I've like trial size body wash, panty liners, like all of those things I have there. And if you ever need anything,
come holler at me.
Please come.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. I mean, those are. I do agree that there is a good way to tell people bad information, for sure. And if you've been a supervisor at all, I'm sure that.
Oh yeah.
That's something that you've had to do at one point. All right, let's do a couple more of these. TV or book?
I like both. I'll probably say. Give me a TV show from a book that I've read. I like a lot of, books that have turned into a movie or show. Yeah.
I wanna be the intellectual and say books, but honestly, I like TV, man. It's just it's easier, it's more entertaining. Books just take time, and in today's world, like my attention span is just so limited. Like I have to be able to do two things at once. Like if I'm watching TV, I got to be on my phone. If I'm reading a book, I got to be listening. It's like I feel like I have to be doing two things at the same time. So reading books, it's hard unless it's very, very captivating. So while I love books, good books, TV. TV. Got to be TV. Let's do one more. Working alone or working in a team?
Both are essential.
What do you prefer?
Probably working alone.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that. Why you say working alone?
Just go ahead and get it done. Like, on my daily job, a lot of my work it just requires my individual work. So I know what I have to do. I come in, get it done. While I enjoy working with others, and this is something that my class literally was just talking about, is advantages and disadvantages of working in a team. And working with a team, you have to wait on somebody else. Like you have to see like when their schedule is available, like coming up with an opportune time to work together, or like flexibility, adaptability, which are all of those are great skills, and you should be able to do those things. But if it's something that you just need to get done as an individual, you can go ahead and get it done.
Yeah.
Though working with a team brings different aspects, different viewpoints and visions. So there's so many.
Yeah, but you're more of a team type of like team sports over individual sports.
Yeah. But just work-wise, like I just rather go in, get it done, so I can, I guess, go and interact with
people you want to interact with.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm definitely individual. And that's just because, and that's even with sports. I will say there's nothing, whether it's work or sports or anything, there's nothing more satisfying than being a part of a winning team.
For sure.
that's hugely satisfying when a team really works and you guys are clicking and everybody's on the same page, same desires, same goals, and you win. That's is the greatest feeling in the world. With that being said, that's rarely the case with most teams. Those are the best teams, and not every team is the best team by nature.
Yeah.
So I'm a person where like I don't like to lose. I can lose. I'm not a poor sport or anything like that, you know. But I like to win. And I don't want to lose at the expense of somebody else. So
Yeah.
if I'm gonna lose, I want to lose on my own accord. So definitely that's just my personality. Is that I'd rather just do it on my own. And it's probably a flaw. I'm not gonna say like that's a virtue or anything like that, but it's just me. So take it for what it is. Yeah.
No, like if it's sports and stuff, absolutely. I love teams. And if it's creative stuff, oh my gosh, absolutely. I love working with teams. But if it's just like work, like I got to go into the office. Like I know if I have a team meeting coming up, that's one thing. But no, give me individual work so I can go ahead and do what I have to do and put my energy where I want to.
And then you can go be a social butterfly like you do since you was a little girl, right?
You got it.
That's another episode, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on IG at Computer Love Podcast. And we out.
Outie.
We out. We out. We out. We out.